Answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls-Royce, Fiat.
Well, we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not on air.
It's still what it's like to be in there with a big, strong, world-class heavyweight before the day, because I don't want him to get hit with the first jab and it's a whole new sensation. So, and you never know. I think there's some game plans that he could cause a bit of trouble.
Oleksandr Usyk delivers a shocking prediction for the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. He reminds fans that Joshua is an Olympic champion, while Jake is primarily a showman and YouTube personality. Usyk draws a blunt comparison, saying this matchup is like a Rolls-Royce facing a Fiat.
You're correct. If Anthony Joshua won, Anthony killed this guy. Listen, a lot of questions, blah, blah, blah. Only one, my answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls-Royce, Fiat. Listen, it's true. Yeah, I'm not, типа, я не обзываюсь.
And have nothing better in mind.
Yeah. It's just true. It's business, more money. Only this.
So we need to pray for Jake Paul.
Yes. I will pray Jake Paul because I want fight with Jake Paul and.
Usyk highlights the vast difference in experience and skill between the two fighters. Despite the clear mismatch, he says he will pray for Jake Paul before the highly anticipated bout. As the current heavyweight champion and a longtime friend of Joshua, Usyk speaks with full confidence in his compatriot. He emphasizes the respect and brotherhood he shares with Joshua and praises AJ's elite skill set. Joshua's preparation has been thorough and disciplined, guided by a team of highly experienced coaches. His trainers have refined both offensive and defensive techniques, ensuring he can answer unexpected moves and maintain dominance throughout the match. Reports note that Joshua's camp includes traditional boxing drills, strength conditioning, and strategic sparring tailored to counter Jake Paul's unpredictable style. Analysts suggest that even without using full power, Joshua's technical ability alone presents a serious challenge for anyone who steps into the ring with him.
Reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helenius, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where, what you've just said then, Spencer, like, match him right. I felt he was matched right with Dubois. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders. Yeah. He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he? Yeah. He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder...
Shiel Sonnen, retired mixed martial artist and analyst, shared his perspective on the broader impact of the matchup. He noted that Jake Paul's critics will soon see the true level of competition he faces when he steps in against a professional of Joshua's caliber. Sonnen argues that this fight is more than a spectacle. It is a test of public perception surrounding crossover boxing. The bout will not only reveal Paul's abilities but will also shape how audiences view the evolving landscape of the sport. For Sonnen, this is a pivotal moment that could redefine what fans consider a legitimate challenge in modern boxing.
Courage that it takes for Jake Paul to do this, as well as for Joshua. You know, this isn't Joshua's first time doing a spoof fight. He fought Francis. That was a spoof fight. Francis had never won boxing before, but we understood he has fought before. It was one of those things where when you got through it, like coming into the front side, I'm sure Anthony Joshua trained plenty hard for it. But coming out the back, he probably realized I didn't need to train for that at all. That was fun. That was a good time. I got to hear him call my names. I got to go out there. I got to be light on my feet. I got to lay on these combinations and then cut an interview and pump my hands over my shoulders like I accomplished something. What dreams are made of. And so Joshua did one of those fights. It was with Francis, and this is a completely different kind of that type of fight. But it's still that fight nonetheless. Jake Paul has abilities to win this fight. A lot of them involved moral victories. A lot of them involved getting out of the first round. And a lot of them would involve getting out of the first 2 rounds and haven't been knocked down yet. Want to be getting out of the 3rd round, you've only been on the canvas once, and you got up to your feet, you shook it off, and you're ready to keep going. Like, these things are all victories, but the fight that it's going to happen, I think it's a big deal for Jake Paul. I think it's a big deal for everybody involved. I think it's a big deal that Francis looks at that fight and realizes, oh, these things make sense. These things that make dollars, they make sense. That's his business. This was his opportunity that he missed out on. And now Joshua's going to have a lot of fun. And overall, I see the fight being one-sided. And people keep saying, well, slow down. Wait till you hear what all of the rules under exhibition.
Broadcast personalities Adam Catterall and Nick Peet also weighed in after the fight was officially confirmed. They observed that although the event has generated massive excitement, both fighters must treat it as a fully professional contest. Joshua reportedly mentioned that he would moderate the power behind his punches, signaling a controlled approach rather than an all-out offensive. Catterall and Peet highlighted the dual responsibility this creates. While Paul gains valuable exposure and experience, Joshua must maintain professionalism to ensure the fight remains safe and credible. They note that balancing entertainment with the integrity of the sport is delicate, requiring both fighters to navigate public expectations responsibly.
We're being told from those people that this is a fully professional boxing contest. I'd like to see the small print, to be totally honest with you. But that's what we're being told. We're being told that it's going to be 8 3-minute rounds. We're being told that they're going to use 10-ounce gloves, which are far too fucking small for Anthony Joshua to hit you in the face with when you're there. Listen, Jake's a good novice. Jake's a good novice.
Oh, yeah.
And if he wanted to have a legitimate career in boxing, then he would climb the domestic rankings in America, and he might even make top 50. He might make top 50. If you pick him right, great. But if you put him in with meritocracy and put him in rankings and actually make him fight the number 49 guy in America or try and climb up, he's going to get found out because he's a utter novice. Now, I know. I speak from experience here. I did an exhibition bout with Shane Neary, a former world champion, and I was fucking 2 or 3 stone bigger than him. I was 5 inches bigger than him. Very similar to AJ and Jake Paul. And I was a novice. I'd boxed, sparred and moved around my whole life, but I'd never been in a competitive fight. And we did it for charity. And we did 3 rounds. And at the end of it, I realised, and I knew it going in, that Shane Neary controlled pretty much every second of those 3 minutes. Pretty much every second he controlled. He put the pressure on me in 1 round. He hit me with the body shot in the 2nd round. And he caught everything I threw at him in the 3rd round when he said, go on, try and knock me out. Caught everything. And, you know, in a similar vein, Anthony Joshua controls every second.
Brendan Schaub, former UFC fighter and current commentator, focused on Joshua's mindset heading into the fight. Schaub and other analysts suggested that Joshua may not view this matchup as a traditional competitive threat. This perspective comes from the understanding that Joshua is already an elite athlete with extensive championship experience. While Paul's background lies in entertainment and social media, Schaub believes Joshua's measured approach does not diminish the fight's importance. Instead, it reflects his awareness of proportional risk. By avoiding unnecessary aggression, Joshua can maintain control, protect his long-term career, and still deliver a compelling spectacle for fans.